Welcome to the Jacob Wayne Show.
Harmony across state lines.
With you as always is your Jacob Wayne, and today we have the persuasive and potent Kellen Gibbons, as usual.
Yeah.
But if you hear a little bit of clickety-clack in the background, we also have our robust and vigorous friend Shocky kind of just doing his thing. And, you know, if he has any feedback or just whatever, he'll jump in. If not, whatever. He's just going to do his thing.
There you go.
So, with that, what are you drinking? 3, 2, 1.
Already
What you
opened
got, Kellen?
I'm doing a repeat. I had it a while back. The Himalayan Snowman. It's super premium.
Ooh.
Just a delicious, big old. I don't know. It's kind of Belgian-y tasting to me, but big old lager.
Alrighty.
It's a tasty one.
Hit me with the write-up and the percentage.
It doesn't have much of a write-up because I think it's
Okay.
brewed by the same Yuksum Brewery in India.
Salt of the earth.
Yep. But it is.
They don't have to spruce it up that much.
No, it just drinks, and it's 7%, so it drinks good. It's very, very smooth.
Oh. Mine is also 7%. It is a Mexican-style chocolate stout from Copper Kettle Brewing Company in Denver.
Nice.
Their origin story is ancient Maya and Aztec civilizations crafted a spicy chocolate drink and believed it was the food of the gods. Inspired by their recipe, we brewed this stout using cacao nibs, cassia cinnamon, and a unique blend of dried chili peppers. May the gods be pleased.
That sounds tasty.
Yeah, cacao nibs was always my favorite porn star.
Yep, but it was always a good one. That one, Stone makes one of those as well. It's pretty tasty.
Pretty tasty. It does have that chocolatey flavor, but with like a little bit of I can never remember the name of it. The cinnamon drink.
The whiskey?
Nope, you get it at like Mexican restaurants. Cinnamon
Horchata?
Yeah. Has a little bit of that in there.
Nice.
Also next to me, just in case, and I thought I'd mention it, is a Pabst Blue Ribbon hard tea seltzer.
Wow.
These seltzers are getting a little wild.
I know, but when Pabst got in the game, they had like a hard coffee, and I was just like, oh God.
Yeah. And I don't want anybody getting all, thinking that we're beer snobs or anything up in here. We do like tasty beer, probably you and Shocky even more than me. But, if like a kind of a standard beer really accomplishes their goals, then we'll shout them out too. One of our favorite kind of just straightforward beers in this household is Montucky.
Oh, yeah.
It's the cold snack. Montana, shout out. But I've been going through all these seltzers, just kind of trying to find my like weekday drink or two. And so I've been kind of testing out all these seltzers. And honestly, the 6% Natty Light seltzers, pretty damn good.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Natty.
taste much of a difference between White Claw or whatever. There's the image of the can you're holding, but
Yeah.
in general, it's like, yeah, give me the Natty Light Seltzer. It's more affordable, get you more fucked up, tastes about the same.
Well, there you go. I've
Yeah.
always liked PBR, the beer, and I think I've had one of the seltzers and it was pretty good. Or maybe it was like a hard tea. It was tasty. Not bad.
Well, yeah, this combo of the hard tea seltzer is something I'm definitely enjoyed it. The combination of all that.
Yeah. A little sweetness. You can like mix that seltzer with something and then you're cutting down on all the bad stuff. And still got some tastiness.
Indeed. I want the tea flavor to overwhelm the sweet flavor, so I don't concentrate on the alcohol flavor so much.
Yeah.
Maybe that makes sense.
Oh,
but
yeah.
With that, do you have anything coming out?
Let's see. Nothing.
Any shows? Anything to plug?
I mean, Summerfest is coming up. So if you're in the Utah area, you want to see the coolest Logan, Utah gets, you can head on down Main. No, it's actually not on Main Street. It's not at the Tabernacle Grounds, which is a bummer. It's at the fairgrounds this year. Yeah, they're doing maintenance, but it's that's on the 17th through the 19th in Logan, Utah. So
I will be in Salt Lake City. I'm going to be in town the beginning of that week, but yeah, near the end, I got to go see some folks down in SLC, so I'll be missing that. But those are fun. I had my artwork shown at a Summerfest back in, I believe it was 2011.
Yeah, I remember perusing your
10 years ago.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's always better at the Tabernacle, and I mean, this year I don't think like the music is quite up to the caliber it usually is, which makes sense. I think a lot of bands just aren't back at it yet. But yeah, but it still should be a fun time. They're doing they got the new event center down at the fairgrounds. They put in this giant new building that's just a giant open area, and so one stage is going to be in there, which is good or bad. It's been really hot lately. Like we're up in like the 90s already, 95, 98 today. So it's like, hopefully they got that place cooled down, because that big old, it's like a big old ag room. They use it for a bunch of stuff during the fair mostly. So I don't know how well cooled it is. Could be interesting.
Yeah. Well, I definitely remember it being a good time. And I was gonna give a quick shout out. That's why I was looking this up real quick. Shout out to Bill Hedgecock. He's like, forgive me if I'm getting it wrong, to his family, but he does like metalwork sculpture, I believe, is basically his forte. Maybe he does other things, but he's a father of a girl I went to high school with. And he's just a great artist. And the first year I did that, Summerfest, he just really helped me out and showed me the ropes as a young artist. And shout out to Bill Hedgecock. If you haven't seen his work, you should find it. I'm not sure how he has it set up online, but yeah, just a great artist. So
it's really cool. You're like, whoa, I never thought a hammer could be a parrot. Sweet.
No, yeah. So it's amazing stuff. So
I think
shout out to him.
I think we have one of his pieces somewhere in the yard. Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they're cool.
On my end, I just launched my solo work on all streaming services. It is called LOBE Daddy.
LOBE Daddy?
LOBE Daddy.
Yeah.
And all it is everywhere any of my weird little musical ideas go, with the knowledge I have now. I used to call it Turtleneck back in the day. And
I remember.
It was with real basic understanding of Fruity Loops and things like of that nature. And then I've also recorded random little songs that don't really fit with the Koshka thing or the Gamma thing. And they're okay, but they're just not recorded well, or they might have been a spontaneous idea. So what Love Daddy is gonna be is all my stuff that doesn't fit Kamapa or Koshka or Cloud Faculty.
Yeah.
And basically it's just anything there. I'm working on the song right now for my buddy Ethan, and it's called Can't Catch the Rat.
Nice.
And I'm gonna have my buddy Shocky playing guitar on that. But that's kind of the idea. It's kind of like, it's a little bit of that Gorillaz thing. I know that that's kind of an element to Cloud Faculty as well, but I think it's a little more just like any of my musician buddies that can help me accomplish this weird little song idea, then that's what Love Daddy's gonna be. So I guess, released the first single, and that is Lazy Lion, and that's on all your streaming services, and go listen to it. I slapped it together just to secure the Love Daddy name, and if you like it, cool. If not so much, there's definitely a lot of weirder, different things coming along the way, so
Take a nibble on the lobe.
yeah. What was that name earlier? That's right on this can. I guess it's not a name as much as an ingredient, but Cacao Nibs. That's a good song name.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
indeed.
But with that, is there any new music coming out for you?
Man, I have been so busy this last week, I haven't even checked if there has been something coming out.
All right.
So, I've still just been. I think I shouted out that Lake Street Dive album last time, and I still need to listen to the whole thing through a few more times. But my first impression of listening to it a little more than just that one song was that I think that single was a really strong single. Like the other songs I listened to so far, I was just like, yeah, this isn't nearly as powerful as that one was. There was one other one that I was really digging, but you're kind of hoping whenever you hear the single, you're hoping the whole album is gonna keep up, or at least keep that vibe, and it didn't do that, which is fine. Maybe I'll grow into it more, but as of now, I'm just like, man, that single's just so damn good.
Well, I think we've talked about that before with, like, I'm a gigantic fan of 80s music, and there's clearly some masterpieces from that era, but there's so many amazing singles, because that really was kind of just like the perfection of that era of like the cassette single, or maybe even CDs kind of near the end. But what always struck me is when I started to listen to some of these other bands, I'm like, oh, okay, so their single, this is incredible. The whole album's going to be amazing. And then it's just like, oh, like it almost doesn't even sound like the same band. Like the production level's like completely different.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. It's disappointing. But I'm not giving up. I'm still doing my deep dives into the 80s. Like really trying to understand some of the albums.
Oh yeah, there's some gems.
I think Cocaine is a culprit for part of that. I think they had like an amazing song. It's like, this is like the best idea ever, and then they keep having the best ideas ever, but never quite reaching the same heights as the initial great idea.
Yeah.
But you keep wasting money on it, and then you're broke, and you're a one-hit wonder.
And it's not even the good hit.
Yeah. They blinded me with science! Anyway. But let me shout out some new releases real quick then. I got my Japanese Breakfast Jubilee vinyl today.
Ooh.
That came out on Friday, and that's like an indie rock band fronted by Michelle Zauner. So it's kind of like her solo singer-songwriter act, from what I understand, but she's been in other indie bands. I'm still learning a lot about her, but I'll read a quote from her about the album real quick. In some ways, through purging everything I needed to for Crying in H Mart, which is a book she wrote, I was able to begin this new chapter. I had written 2 albums about grief. I still felt like there was so much left to say about that experience. I finally feel like I've said everything I need to say about loss and grief and my mom in this way. I felt ready to tackle new scenes. So,
Hmm.
with the album, like she was saying, her first couple albums are really melancholy and kind of sad and nostalgic. And with this one, it is a lot more like uplifting. It has a lot of 80s elements, like I was talking about, as far as the synth and like tone goes. And yet she also has like that indie singer songwriter from the 2000s kind of vibe too. So the way that all blends, it's just really enjoyable. So
Nice.
shout out to that album. I love it. Listen to it today. Also, a follow up to an artist we talked about before, Butcher Brown. They just released all their B sides from that recording session.
Oh.
It's just called Encore. So last time I was talking about them and didn't have a lot of info, so I'll just read a brief overview because I couldn't find any of their thoughts on this new release. So Butcher Brown is from Richmond, Virginia. They're a quintet, and this is following up their NPR Tiny Desk concert, which I guess received over 243,000 views on YouTube, which is pretty solid. Butcher Brown has 5 groove merchants delivering a heady homebrew of jams and jazz, rhymes and beats of funky musical mix that makes one question why great music needs to be labeled as this category or that. The hybrid moniker jazz hip hop only begins to cover it. Their balance of raw energy and smooth sophistication, edgy improvisation with a generous dose of southern roots reveals how equal opportunity they are in employing a wide range of musical styles and how authentically they've absorbed it all.
There you
That's a
go.
pretty solid write up. What's funny,
Yeah.
we're gonna notice these in the future sometimes. Is that those music write ups that get so ridiculous? Coming straight from the ethereal ground of the Utah desert, their spiritual sound wraps around the globe as if to shriek out for change.
Oh
And you're
yeah.
just like, shut up.
Is that a?
It's a blues band.
I actually know the band. Like a band came to mind when you were saying that. Like
That's
I know
hilarious.
exactly what band I would think wrote that.
But you can picture their album or their band photo. 2 of them are looking off. One has like a fucking farmer hat on for some reason.
Man, I feel like you're talking about this band. They just put an album out too. I won't go any farther in case one of
Yeah.
them happens to listen.
Well, and to be fair, there's bands that have that look that match it, and bands that have that look and don't. That's all I will say.
Yeah.
Moving on, Devin Townsend released a single. It's a virtual live performance of Storm Bending from
Ooh.
his album from 2016, which is called what? I don't remember that one.
Oh man, he's been so busy in the last couple of
It's
years.
hard to
I've
remember
lost.
all his
Yeah, it's
stuff.
like Empath or it might be the other one that I
Empath.
have.
I think it's Empath.
Yeah, that's the one
Could
I
be
was guessing.
wrong, but I think that's what it is. Anyway, it looks like he's going to be releasing a virtually live 2020 album, and this is the single from that.
Nice.
So if you don't know Devin Townsend, get yourself learnt. There's a lot there,
Get
a lot
started.
to digest. My favorite Devin Townsend album is probably Key or his collaboration with Che, which was
Casualties
Casualties
of
of Cool. What about
Yeah.
you? Give me your top 2 from him.
That's not fair, man.
Just do it. Go quick. Like, come to mind. You can correct it next time.
Well, it's too he covers too many genres. But actually, if I did have to pick, I would probably throw in Casualties of Cool because I just can't imagine anyone like not liking that album. I feel like that's should just
It
be a
is,
universally loved album.
yeah, it's my introduction to him. Like, if somebody was like, what's this all about? Like, I'm like, no, just listen to this and
And
understand that he has this capacity to be this restrained and yet just authentically textural and smooth. So then when you get into something like deconstruction,
Yeah.
you understand. No, he's not just like unfiltered craziness. Like sometimes I think that's the vibe with Frank Zappa. He has such a
Yeah.
gigantic discography, and he is such a wild son of a bitch that you miss a lot of his more thoughtful pieces. Not to say that
Uh-huh.
the other ones didn't take thought, but just, oh, that's a very nice, mellow, pretty tune. There's no horns and some guy screaming about thingfish.
Yeah. It's true. So if I were to go from the, introducing a person that wasn't that into metal, I would say Casualties of Cool. And Key is
Mm-hmm.
definitely in the high on my list. But I think if I was gonna try to introduce like a metalhead coming from the opposite direction, I think I'd
Mm.
show him Strapping Young Lad, the New Black first.
Oh, yeah.
That's a just that like this is how some metal is done.
I remember not getting it when I was younger, and I was a pretty big metalhead, but to be fair, coming from more the new metal area
hmm
and then slowly branching out from there. So I was barely starting to understand things like Cannibal Corpse and Soul, I guess more Sepultura, not Soulfly, but
Yeah.
things like that. And I remember Strapping Young Lad being shown, and it did have that satirical bent to it, but I didn't quite notice it. And then I just saw that he had his skullet, like just bald on top and the long hair. And I
Yeah.
was like, who is this fucking guy? Like,
He
and
was a
why am I supposed to think he's so awesome? Like, I was immediately resistant. Like, just, what? Like,
he
no. And just like, but I got reintroduced by you and your brothers. And I was like, oh, not only is he extremely talented, which I've learned just by playing music over the years, two, I didn't understand the humor at the time. Going back and looking at it, I'm like, oh, yeah, he is trying to be the ultimate badass metal guy.
yeah.
Like I just thought he was just like, man, this guy has a gigantic ego when I was like younger. But then he's okay, and then you just see how he even thinks about music in general, and then you're like, okay.
Yep. You
But
crazy. Yeah, and back then he was just trying to freak people out and just be like the ugliest dude he could.
well, and it
Making all those
works
faces.
because I was just what? Like, what's the appeal?
And now he's
I
all
just didn't understand it.
cleaned up and looks all nice, but still just shreds and is just cranking out music, man. And it's all got every album he does. You can tell it's Devin. You can hear
Yeah,
him, like let alone his voice, just how he writes. But it's all still so he keeps making it new and so cool. So
yeah.
someday I don't know if it'll finally be the split off show from the Jacob Wayne show, that my music show or what, but someday we'll do a
Mm-hmm.
Devin deep dive. I have his biography and I need to just read it through, mark pertinent pages. We can kind of hit every album. It'll probably be like a 5 or 6 episode like series. But yeah, we'll
Yeah,
do a Devin deep dive at some point.
I'm excited for that show, man. Basically, I'm gonna be the layman with more of my general pop culture understanding of music. And I mean, how much schooling did you go to for music?
Oh, I
Not
mean, it
only
was
just
a.
your own personal discoveries.
I mean, I've been taking lessons, and I've always been in music all through like public school, which I'm not saying that counts for too much, but just saying. And then
It counts
I
though.
got my guitar degree, which is a 4 year degree, but I took like 6, which
Yeah,
did
man.
give me
But
more time in classrooms. I was in ensembles every semester of that, so I did get an extra 2 years of playing and that kind of stuff. So.
but let me prop you up here. You did that in school, in high school. You did it in college. You have played in countless bands. I always forget one here and there, and there's always new ones.
Yep.
You've played for musicals and like in with an orchestra. I imagine you've done that.
Yeah, performed with the American Festival Chorus.
You understand music. You come at it from a different perspective than I do. Like, and you've also played with Jacob Wayne, which is a thing. But
that was always at the top of my CV.
Sure. But that being said, you've done a lot that you have an inherent knowledge of music history, theory, all this stuff that I just don't. So what's going to be exciting about this show, I think, is we're going to be able to deep dive into musicians and theories and concepts. And I'll be your conduit. Like, you can be like, I don't know anything about, blood harmony, or I don't know anything about the weird Satan note, or whatever it is. And you just get to educate us. So whenever we get around to that, I'm really excited. And Devin Townsend, part 1 through whatever, sounds like a great series. So that will be, we might as well talk about it now. I have one more music release, but while we're on the subject, I did adjust our YouTube channel to just the Jacob Wayne Show. The reason why is that is the thing that's releasing things consistently. So if you search the Jacob Wayne Show, oh hey, there's going to be a new video every week. And same thing with our Facebook page. But if you love Koshka, we still got our Instagram account. All those videos are still under that channel. It's just the Jacob Wayne Show channel now. And we'll throw up this next podcast on there. And obviously, if that thing takes off beyond this one, we'll have to make a new page for that. And once we get some more Koshka stuff recorded and reintroduce ourselves, then maybe it picks up to a point where we have to make a new page there. But, it is what it is. So far, everything is coagulated in one place. So search the Jacob Wayne Show. You'll find our page or our YouTube or our podcast on all the streaming services. And if you just want the Koshka tunes, search Koshka. You'll find that too.
Bam.
But one last little release. Little Big released a covers album just called Covers. Do you remember who Little Big is?
No.
Skibbity wap pa pa.
Oh, that
Skibbity wap pa 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 pa.
Nice.
Yeah. So they really, and I love them. So I just figured I'd explain what they are and why you should care, and go look up their music videos. Little Big is a Russian rave band founded in 2013 in St. Petersburg. The band consists of Ayla Ilich Pruzikin, Sergei Gok Makarov, Sonia Tayurskaya, and Anton Budisov. Their first full-length album, With Russia from Love, was released on 17th March 2014. The group has released 3 albums and 9 singles. The team itself is a satirical art collaboration which relies on the music, visuals, and the show. Little Big mocks various national stereotypes about Russia. All the videos are filmed by co-founder Alina Pasok. The band shoots and produces all of their music videos. So,
if you haven't seen Skibbity, you got to go see Skibbity. That's an awesome music video.
Skibbity's amazing. On this cover album, they do Barbie Girl, Everybody by the Backstreet Boys with some goat noises.
Nice.
Blitzkrieg Bop, Koldunya, and Mama Maria.
Jesus.
So
that's quite
check
the
those
list.
out. Yeah. With that, are we ready to get into some movie news or movie talk?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, before we get started, we have a whole new drop for this.
Oh, yeah.
I worked on it very hard today.
Well, let's
very
drop it.
hard. I think we will
So
call
hard.
this segment Chatting Movies.
Well, all right. Nice stinger.
Yeah, it was very thought out.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. All the musical tones and emotions going into it. It's just like the movies we watch and love.
Indeed. Condensed to 40 seconds.
All right. Now, I've felt this way. It's not that I've had any feedback about this or anything, but I thought the movie segment is kind of stretched a little too long, so I'm going to kind of try to streamline it a little bit. So, what I'm going to do is just right up front ask you if you've seen the film, whether you have or you haven't. Give me your thoughts on it, and then I'll just go over the info and what my thinks are, and we'll move on quickly to the next one.
Sounds good.
So, the first movie this last week I watched was Scream. Have you seen that movie?
Man, that one, I'm pretty sure I did watch, but like when it came out so long ago, like I have zero recollection except for the mask.
Yeah, 1996.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like around then. That's when I watched it, probably like a couple of years after it came out. So I do not recall much, but yeah, I did watch it.
Anything percolating to your mind about it?
For some reason, Eastbound and Down.
Huh.
Can I do you behind? Can I do you from behind while I wear the mask from Scream? That quote pops into my head. So thank you,
I don't
Danny
even
McBride.
remember that line.
I know,
But yeah, that's awesome.
So there you go.
All right, so I'll just jump in real quick. Scream is a 1996 American meta slasher film directed by Wes Craven, whoop, and written by Kevin Williamson. The film stars David Arquette, Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, Matthew Lillard, Rose McGowan, Skeet Ulrich, and Drew Barrymore. They're leaving out one of my favorite, probably my favorite character in the movie, but for the life of me, I can't remember his name. He's a comedian, and he was in The Mask too.
Oh.
It'll come to me, but he's the guy that's the horror movie expert.
Nice.
And he just like breaks down all the rules. Like you can't be, you have to be a virgin. If you're not a virgin, you're gonna die. And oh man, I wish I could remember his name. Maybe I'll think of it. But this movie was released on December 20th. It follows the character of Sidney Prescott, which is Nev Campbell, a high school student in the fictional town of Woodsboro, California, who becomes the target of a mysterious killer in a Halloween costume known as Ghostface. The film combines black comedy and whodunit mystery with the violence of the slasher genre to satirize the cliches of the horror movie genre popularized in films such as Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Craven's Own, A Nightmare on Elm Street. Scream was considered unique at the time of its release for featuring characters who were aware of real-world horror films and openly discussed the cliches that the film attempted to subvert. It was apparently inspired by the real-life case of the Gainesville Ripper, which I've never heard about.
Oh, actually, I have a little bit.
All right, go ahead. Well, I'm kind of taking a look at the rest of this.
I just heard that, like, I've heard it mentioned on, like, the podcasts I listen to. They have made reference to that particular story.
Was that in California as well, or where's Gainesville at?
I think it's in Florida. Yep. Okay. Florida.
We'll have to come back to that one. That might be a good subject. So we'll write down Gainesville Ripper. It will become a true crime podcast along with everything else we cover.
There you go. Just get the eggs in all the baskets.
Dude, we're going to just do everything. This movie earned $173 million worldwide, becoming the highest grossing slasher film until the release of Halloween in 2018. It still remains the highest grossing slasher film in adjusted dollars, though, which so means it is the highest grossing. It received several awards and award nominations. The soundtrack by Marco Beltrami was also acclaimed and was cited as one of the most intriguing horror scores composed in years. I'd agree with that. The music for it was awesome. They had like Red Right Hand by Nick Cave. or
Oh
something
yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a really good song. I
Nice.
like it has a little organ run. It's like kong kang, and it kind of bing 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 gong gang 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 bing 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 boo 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 boo. It's a good part.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sounds like a fun tune.
hell yeah. Especially sung by me, I know.
Oh, I thought you were
Um,
playing it.
shit, well, you know. It was credited for revitalizing the horror genre in the 1990s, which was considered to be almost dead following the influx of direct-to-video titles and numerous sequels to establish horror franchises of the 1970s and 1980s. And they continued to make a bunch more, and I watched them because of how much I love this one. But it's just it has so many amazing actors in it that just like they weren't even as big as they are now, like Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoilers. Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich as the killers, like just as these movie obsessed, like whiny high school kids, was like awesome and a good subversion. Like, wasn't some great dark evil. It was just these like it was fun. As one of them says. Drew
Nice.
Barrymore apparently got offered the role of the main character, which I'm already fucking forgetting because I'm getting old. Sydney Prescott. But she's like, no, I'd rather do something more unexpected. So she becomes the woman who's killed at the beginning of the movie, which was
Oh,
really jarring. You're like, oh, holy shit, they just killed Drew Barrymore.
yeah.
Like, at the time, that was like really unexpected and crazy to do.
Nice.
But Nev Campbell, I'll always be in love with her. I before I even knew what sexual feelings were, Nev Campbell in this movie, I was just like, oh my lord, what's happening? Why do I feel funny?
Like when we climbed the rope in gym class.
We used to climb the rope at gym class. Yeah. If you can name that movie, we might send you a free mug.
Oh,
Write us at
nice.
Koshka@gmail.com.
Nice. This is an easy one, I think.
Should be. But no more, no more. That's all they get. Had to have been listening. The next movie, From Dusk Till Dawn. Have you seen that one?
Don't think so. Nope.
From,
Not ringing a bell.
all right. From Dusk Till Dawn is a also 1996 American action horror film directed by Robert Rodriguez and written by Quentin Tarantino.
That's
I
where I
always
have heard of it. I still haven't seen it, but I was like, I know I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it, and that's why I've heard of it. Okay.
hmm I was always under the impression that they split directorial duties on this film, but after doing some research, I guess Robert Rodriguez directed the whole thing and Quentin Tarantino just wrote it. So that's kind of
Nice.
surprising because it does take a jarring switch like halfway through the film, and that's all I'll say because it is a really great surprise if you don't know what it is. It stars Harvey Keitel, George Clooney, Tarantino himself, and Juliette Lewis. The plot follows a pair of American criminal brothers, Clooney and Tarantino, who take a family as hostages in order to cross into Mexico, but ultimately find themselves trapped in a saloon. And there was more info there, but I'm just going to cut it off right there. You should watch the movie. It
Indeed.
was released January 17th, 1996, um, and received mixed reviews from critics who described the film as well made, if overly violent. After enjoying financial success at the box office, From Dusk Till Dawn has since become a cult film and spawned a media franchise of sequel films, a video game, and other media adaptations. So, I don't want to give anything away. Go watch this movie if you haven't seen it. First time I saw it, I was hanging out with my buddies after we got home from high school one day, and we were just getting
Yeah.
some snacks and sitting on the couch, and we just threw on the TV back when it was just like TBS or whatever, and they just had a movie on. and we're like, what is this? And we're like, George Clooney and like Tarantino, like what?
Huh.
We didn't even fully comprehend who Tarantino was at the point. We just knew that he was obnoxious as fuck in this movie. And we were kind of like shocked into continuing to watch more and more of it because we're like, oh my God, what a despicable character. And then when that switch happens in the film, you're like, oh my God, might be one of the most awesomely cheeseball things I've ever seen in my life.
Nice.
So, and then that's Robert Rodriguez, if you know Robert Rodriguez. So, if you like Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino, watch the fucking movie. That's all
There
I
you
gotta
go.
say.
Well, so now you said that you thought they split it, and they did do another movie where they each did split it with
Yeah.
two other directors, right? Have you seen that one?
Well, there's two versions of this. There's Four Rooms, where it's a
That's the
bellhop
one.
that goes from room to room, and each room is directed by a different director. And that is for sure.
Nice.
One of
Yeah.
the rooms is Robert Rodriguez, another room is Quentin Tarantino. If you want to look that up real quick, I do forget the name of the other two directors, but that's an amazing film that we saw in the exact same context. We came home from high school one day and just sat down, had some snacks, and then we're like, what the fuck is this bellhop doing? And
Yeah.
before you know it, we watched the whole fucking movie. And we're like,
Nice.
that might be one of the most awesome things I've ever seen.
Oh, I need to
So,
watch it. Allison Anders and Alexander Rockwell
who are
are
two
the other two.
directors I need to learn more about because I don't know what
Yeah.
they've done.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, I've never heard either of them.
So, From Dusk Till Dawn and Four Rooms, that's a good double feature. Another good double feature is Grindhouse, which
I
was
like that one.
Yeah, that's where it's two separate movies entirely. One is Death Proof by Tarantino, and then there's a bunch of trailers in between. One of them I remember is Wolf Women of the SS by Rob Zombie and stuff like that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and Eli Roth, the guy who did Hostel, and he was the Bear Jew in
Oh yeah.
Inglourious Bastards. He did one, and that was like Space Nazis or something like that. But so yeah, Tarantino did Death Proof, and then Rodriguez did Planet Terror. Both of them are awesome. I've seen Death Proof recently. I need to rewatch Planet Terror. It's been a long time.
See, I don't think I've watched the Planet Terror, but I just love Death Proof, so
Really?
I do need to do that.
And
You
we
gonna
might
put
have
it
to
on the
go
list?
nuts. Yeah, the whole thing.
You'll be here. Maybe we'll have time for a movie.
Oh, we will. We will. It's just, that's all during the day stuff, as you know.
Yep.
And one last movie on this list, Reflections in a Golden Eye. Ever heard of it?
No, never even heard of that one.
Neither had I. I've recently only watched stuff on HBO Max.
Yeah.
And just because it really is like, that's my speed. That's the kind of shit I like. It's Amy Sedaris, anime, Adult Swim, DC Comics,
Well,
old ass movies, Sopranos. Like, I'm only propping them up because I want them to keep surviving as a streaming service.
yeah.
Because apparently they're not that popular, but I'm like, this is all my favorite shit. So, just, yeah, I haven't looked at Netflix and Amazon in months. So, whatever that's worth. But
Mm-hmm.
we have a mutual friend who is really into old movies, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes he's just like, you haven't seen from 1938? And I'm just like, no, of course I fucking haven't. Like, why have I seen that? But he does raise a good point. If I'm going to be all about movies and stuff, I need to research more about, where movies come from and things that are remade even by the 80s and things of that nature. So
Mm-hmm.
I've committed to watching some older movies, anything before 1970, which I love the 70s and 80s, but something about right before then, I just have a hard time.
Yeah.
But this one is from 1967. It's an American drama film directed by John Huston. He did. Oh, might have to look that up. I want to say The Scarlet Pimpernel, but maybe I'm fucking that up. But he's also the father of Angelica Houston. Do you remember who she is?
That does sound familiar, but it's not enough to place it.
She's the mother in Adam's Family. She's also
Oh,
the Grand High Witch in The Witches. She's that really sexy black hair, just owns her space woman.
nice.
Yeah, she's just incredible, and I'm like, oh, holy shit, that's her dad, huh? I learned that yesterday when I watched this.
Interesting.
It's not the Scarlet Pimpernel, my bad. It's the Maltese Falcon. For some reason, it's the same kind of title to me.
I mean, Pimpernel sounds like a bird. I don't know what else it is.
Yeah, yeah, the Maltese Falcon, the Pimpernel, whatever it is. But let's get back on track here. It's based on a 1941 novel of the same name by Carson McCullers. It deals with elements of repressed sexuality, both homosexual and heterosexual, as well as voyeurism and murder. The film stars Marlon Brando and Elizabeth Taylor. The film was unsuccessful at the box office. And all I will say is, man, I wish I would have written this down. It has so many weird elements in it. Like there's one lady who's cut off her nipples with gardening shears because she lost a baby.
See,
And
that sounds familiar.
oh, really?
I feel like I've heard that, not seen it, but I've heard that about that.
The concept.
Yeah, that's one way to handle it.
And yeah, it takes place on like a Southern Army base or something of that nature. And I'm gonna totally paraphrase this because I just watched it last night. But Elizabeth Taylor, she's the wife of Marlon Brando's Major Weldon, and Marlon Brando's character is just absolutely a repressed homosexual. This is in 1967, so they're not going to really talk about it or even hint at it that hard. But that being said, they hinted at it really hard for 1967.
Yeah.
And he's like, Elizabeth Taylor's getting all drunk and she's like putting some firewood in the fireplace. She's all bent over, ass up, like just basically the signal to any man who's just like, ugh, just like immediately grunt and zone in. And he's just like, yeah, you are a slut. I don't like you. And she stands up and just starts stripping naked and throws a bra at him. And then just walks by him naked up the stairs. He's like, I hate you. I hate you. He's like chasing her, like holding the railing of the stairs. And she turns around. She's like, would you like to be put in a dog collar and brought out into the yard and beaten by a naked woman? And he just stares at it like, oh my god. Like, I was like, holy shit, 1967, huh?
God damn.
And there's a awesome character, Anacleto, played by Zorro David, who's like this effeminate Filipino man who's the like wet nurse assistant to Julie Harris, Allison. She's the mom who cut off her nipples.
Ah.
And he's just doing little improv ballets for her and painting peacocks and like, look into the golden eye. And it's just like the whole movie is unsettling as fuck.
Wow.
But all I will say is that it's also extremely boring because it's purely an examination of these weird fucking characters just in their day-to-day lives. Like not much else happens. And so, spoiler alert, 1967, right at the end, all the repressed sexuality for Marlon Brando's character builds up because there's this one colonel who just keeps sneaking into his house to smell Elizabeth Taylor's like undergarments.
Huh.
He's clearly heterosexual, but he's like a sexual deviant. And Marlon Brando, it's implied that he's attracted to him, but doesn't know how to deal with that. So he finds him in the room where he snuck in, and he shoots him with a gun. And it had to have been one of the biggest laughs I've had from a movie in a long time, because as soon as he shoots him, the camera starts doing like the handheld like shifting from three characters. So it's like Elizabeth Taylor, dead guy. Elizabeth Taylor, Brando. Elizabeth Taylor screaming, dead guy. Elizabeth Taylor screaming, Brando. And it's just like switching between the two, and then each time it gets on Taylor, her head's in a different position screaming. And then it cuts to Brando, and then the other character, Robert Forster, shows up like, huh? And it's just like, that was your dramatic ending.
Yeah,
you just like just do this wonky camera move and just like, there was a murder on the base. They just puts a quote up on the screen, and they should remake this movie because it has a lot of good shit. And so, to wrap up movie talk, all I will say is that they need to start remaking movies that kind of sucked, but they had good ideas or good premises. Like, quit remaking the ones that are awesome. I know you want to make your money, but I think Hollywood doesn't understand how many of these films are like, that was almost really good. And if you remade it, we'd all go back hoping that they fixed it. But if you remake fucking The Goonies, everybody's going to be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Even if you did a good job, it's going to be really hard to win people over. If you remake Lost in Space, which was like a really weird, shitty 90s movie, and which was based on the old TV show, like, you could still do a really cool Lost in Space. I think they even did like a series on Netflix, but I haven't heard anything about it. So, yeah, that's why I'm excited for the new Dune. I love Dune the book. The movie they made in the 80s was okay. It's David Lynch weird shit. So I'm totally ready for a remake.
There you go.
Yeah. Anyway, that is enough for chatting movies. So where are we sitting at? Okay. We're not doing too shabby.
Not at all.
Let's get into philosophy.
Whoop, whoop. Quite. Preposterous. Haberdashery. Yes.
I dare say. Do tell.
Yes.
Quite. Think deeps.
All right. Short and sweet today. But this could be fun. And I don't know why this is a philosophy question, in all honesty. Why do we dream?
Wow.
I guess I have no idea. I mean, that's like my main thing. I don't know. I feel like I have heard theories about this that like it's just like your brain uses the time to process things, and that you get a glimpse into it sometimes, and some people can get into more of the lucid dreaming and can actually take part in it, and some people just see a weird movie of a bunch of little bits from their life every night.
Well, I guess who is a person that studies dreams?
I'm sure there's several different
dreamologist, or whatever. So whatever that is, I am not that. So
oneurology. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not that, but from what I understand and what I've read, it's your brain's basically a computer. It needs to shut down before it overheats. It has to go into sleep mode in order to like go into all the repair functions and all that sort of things that happens when you sleep. Basically, repair muscle, rest, do all this stuff. And so I do feel like it is a little bit of like, it's almost like the screensaver for your brain. It's
Ah,
just like
yeah.
processing old info and helping you kind of processing feelings and emotions and memories while at the same time it's just a tiny little show for you while your body like focuses on repairs.
Yeah, here's a good little description. During REM
Sure.
sleep, researchers theorize that the brain goes through a process known as synaptic efficacy refreshment. This is observed as brain waves self-firing during sleep in slow cycles at a rate about of 14 hertz. It is believed to serve the purpose of consolidating recent memories and reinforcing old memories.
Hmm.
So, yeah,
Yeah.
what you said. But
Yeah.
like it's kind of cool reinforcing old memories. That is interesting. Like that makes
This
sense.
well, because they are of value. They teach you how to what to do, what not to do, what was effective, what was not effective for your survival. So that would
I
make sense.
I kind of
And then
wonder.
also, when you're tired and you're yawning and you're just trying to get oxygen to your brain, it's like sleep. You're just, yeah, your body needs to like not be doing so much frontal lobe shit or whatever it is
Hmm.
and just kind of go down to basic sleep mode or low power mode. And just like, we got to arrange this, we got to do this, rest this, get some more oxygen here, here, and here. And, that could explain a lot why when you wake up, you're like thirsty as fuck. Because it's like been distributing everything overnight.
Yeah,
And you're just like, oh, okay, need more water to help the delivery of oxygen to blood cells and so on and so forth. But
yeah.
let's quickly look at it through the lens of what this list was maybe trying to get at. Why do we dream?
Why?
To have hope for the future.
Yeah.
That's my answer on the
So like, oh, that kind of
on the
dream.
on the
Yeah.
woo woo level.
Yeah. I guess so. I mean, that is what it's for.
Or to like scare the shit out of you and ruin your day because it just had you interact with somebody you didn't like from 15 years ago and they like took all your money.
Yeah. I have some really weird recurring dreams too that are always just kind of like, why is that one back? What the? I kind of
Maybe
wonder if your brain like is like a computer going through kind of going through the data like with the old dreams, like old memories and stuff, reinforcing whatever. If it's like,
mm,
okay, we got a lot of new memories this week, time to drop off some old stuff. All right. 5th grade, this day, we got. It's like,
could
if
be.
if that happens at the same time.
Maybe it's like a training mode like the Matrix where it is throwing weird crazy horseshit at you to like train you up for regular life. Like
Yeah.
when you wake up, you're like, yeah, there isn't gonna be a demon buddy coming at you, but just be ready.
Could be like a crazy homeless dude chasing you. We gotta
Yeah,
kind of have the
but
same
he has
skills.
buddy ears. You're like, oh my god, I
Hop,
knew it.
hop.
I foresaw it.
There was less crack in my dreams.
Indeed. Well, let's move on from that then.
All right.
Let's go on to Dear Jacob Wayne. You got one of those?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, we haven't heard that sweet jingle in a while. Let's
Oh
go.
yeah, Dear Jacob Wayne. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. 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 And
All right. So this is an interesting one. I feel like there's again these always have problems like within the problems, so it's fun. So last night, my husband of 4 years said he wanted to get out and go get a drink with his friends. He goes to the same two bars whenever he goes out. Never stays out late. Usually home by 11. We've gone to the strip club together before, but we agreed going separately is a firm boundary for me. Last night it was getting later and later, so I checked his location and boom, at the strip club. called him several times immediately to get in his ass.
Hmm.
That's that's what it says.
Hmm.
I don't know why. No
Yeah.
answer.
Well, yeah, I've heard the term.
Finally, when he answered, he said he left his phone in the car. He never leaves his phone in the car. WTF? Then he lied, yell all caps, and said he was at another bar close to the strip club. Finally, he admitted where he was, apologized and all, but stayed for like another 30 minutes. At first, I thought he was with his friends, but turns out nobody wanted to go, so he went by himself. When he came home, he was all apologetic, said he thought he could sneak over there and I wouldn't find out. Said he stayed the extra 30 minutes to finish his drink. I'm pissed and hurt and most of all confused. We were getting along, being intimate and all, yet he wanted to go so bad he went alone? Like, what was he looking for? It's not like him to be sneaky like this at all, Jacob Wayne.
Well, all right. What was her name?
Didn't say.
Anonymous.
Icing
Look,
3.
Icing 3. Look, there are people that are polyamorous. There are swingers. There are just open relationships, all that stuff. And I guarantee you there are people that can handle it and do it regularly and it's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
She sounds like, because I already forgot her name. She sounds like she's trying to be down with this lifestyle because it's cool. Like you're being the cool girl. And
Yeah.
clearly that doesn't work for you because she's all fucking freaking out about this guy living that kind of lifestyle. And if you were, I don't know if they mentioned it, maybe I missed it, but if they are like trying to do the monogamous thing, then you're an idiot. And you're dating a guy who clearly isn't into that.
Yeah.
So it's your fault. It is your fault for staying with him.
Yeah. That's what I would say. I'd say just get on out of there.
Yeah. And you know what? But if you're coming at it from like we tried the polyamory, open relationship thing, and this is not for me, then have the sit down with the boyfriends and see if he's cool with narrowing it down to monogamy. But don't play each other. Like if you have to like try to convince him to try it out, he doesn't want to. Quit trying to make it happen. Like
Yep.
just accept the truth. Take the L. So
For
in
real.
that context, you can put it out to him like, "Hey, it seems like you're wanting to still be out there, kind of mingling and flirting and hooking up. I'm not cool with it. Let's go monogamous." If he's just like even if he's thinking about it, just end it. And
Yeah.
yeah, if you were hoping for something monogamous and he acts like this, you're an idiot.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like they go to it like they said they go together, but they said don't go separately, which I don't know, man. Strip clubs are just weird anyways.
I've had women in my life that are more open relationship, polyamorous, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they just weren't that committed to me. Like they're like, oh, that'll be a fling with this artist guy, and but then I'll go over here and do this, and that's on me for letting that get to me as bad as it did. Because I'm a young in college, mid-20s. I'm like, hey, oh my god, I thought I loved you. But it's that old rattlesnake thing. You knew what I was when you picked me up. So if I bite you, like, why are you surprised?
Yep. Exactly.
And it's just like, yeah, all right. A tattoo across your breast probably is a warning sign.
Maybe.
Could be. Not always, of
Yeah.
course. But it's just like, all right. When you hear her railing another dude a day after she hooks up with you, don't cry into your geology textbook. Take the L and move on.
Yeah. We just gotta keep moving.
Indeed. Like, Oh, something like the rain, like a kidney stone. It's just a broken heart, son. This this too shall pass away.
Oh, Tupac.
That's well, that's Maynard James Keenan from Pussifer.
Oh,
Great, it's
nice.
a great song.
Yeah.
I like
I'm
how he equates a kidney stone with a broken heart, and you just
yeah.
have to pass it through. You're just like, ah!
It's gonna. It sucks for a while.
Yep, but you'll get rid of it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, with that, let's move into weird news.
No. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. Like that. All right. Your turn.
Alrighty, so came across this today thanks to our boy Shocky.
Yeah.
Apparently, Anonymous, the hacktivist group, fires a warning shot at Elon Musk over his crypto tweets.
Ooh.
Yep. So, Anonymous apparently has a warning for SpaceX and Tesla boss Elon Musk after his Wild West tweets. Wild West tweets, just his tweets. Shut up. About cryptocurrency and especially Bitcoin and Dogecoin. So, Anonymous isn't happy with the amount of power Musk has amassed over the years, especially with the silver spoon out of his mouth. He has the power to swing cryptocurrency markets by hundreds of billions of dollars at a time, and so it seems from the outside. In the video, Anonymous this terrible writer.
Sounds like it.
But this is a quote from Anonymous. I'm going to attempt to put on the voice. You ready?
Yeah. What do they sound like?
People are beginning to see you as nothing more than another narcissistic rich dude who is desperate for attention. It appears that your quest to save the world is more rooted in a superiority and savior complex than it is in actual concern for humanity.
Damn.
Eh?
Yeah. Was very anonymous.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Hey.
This has been obvious to your employees for a long time. You have faced intolerable conditions under your command for years. It is also obvious to the young children working in your overseas lithium mines, which are destroying the local environment as well. You have been open about your willingness to stage coups in order to install dictators in place where your toxic products are being mined. You have been prematurely crowned Emperor of Mars, a place where you will be sending people to die.
It goes on, but I'll spare you from the rest. Just go watch the video. But
Oh boy.
he's calling it. They really go hard on Elon Musk. They point out that he wasn't the founder of PayPal, wasn't the founder of Tesla. Even he basically bought the companies or the name or whatever. You know, we can get into the details later. And write us at Koshka@gmail.com if you got something to say or disagree with. But essentially, he is just kind of this propped up media genius. He's not full on. It basically, as I was discussing earlier today with Shocky, kind of like setting him up as the next Thomas Edison that basically takes advantage of the Teslas of the world.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of ironic that his company's called Tesla.
For real.
And he's acting like an Edison. Like a fucking big fat Edison.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's been manipulating the markets and just like playing the weird game and doing all this showy stuff out in public. And another thing I've said before is that to me, he's not this evil super genius. He's more like Hugh Hefner. Like tech CEO Hugh Hefner. He's just somewhat intriguing and likable in media regards.
Yeah.
But he's just basically playing the markets and playing the media and pushing through his things. And one thing Anonymous did point out, I can't find the exact quote, so no voice this time, but that there are plenty of other companies and people that give a shit about sustainable energy, electric vehicles, and climate change. And part of the reason he has such a kind of blind following amongst more progressive people is that, well, this is the one guy doing something about our future in terms of cleaner transportation, cleaner energy, investing in science, so on and so forth. But
Yeah.
that's kind of the game he's playing, is he's taking the mantle of that and saying, you can't get this anywhere else. It's all under me.
Yeah.
While he smokes a joint on Joe Rogan. So,
Indeed.
that being said, to wrap up the episode, one thought I did have when I saw this Anonymous video, though, was what has Anonymous actually accomplished? Because I always see the videos where they like call somebody out,
Yeah.
but I like don't actually know what they do.
They've written some good songs. You know, you come across them in the hymn book written by Anonymous. So, and some letters to the editor occasionally. Not bad.
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, yeah, affecting real change in society.
Yeah.
But I figured we could quickly go over this Business Insider article called "The Good Hacks by Anonymous," and this was written as far back as 2013, so they've probably done stuff since then.
Yeah.
But we're just gonna read them off, and if there's anything to share that you know about, cool. If not, we'll just read these. So now you know that Anonymous has done stuff. And
It's pretty cool
we could just
stuff.
wrap up the episode that way. So at
Sounds
number
good.
8, December 2006, Anonymous took down the website of white supremacist radio show host Hal Turner. The attack ended up with Turner paying some very expensive bandwidth bills and dropping a lawsuit a year later.
Sweet.
A lawsuit.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm
I
all
hadn't heard
for-
of that. But yeah, fucking up some piece of shit's website might not seem like much to some, but when you consider the traffic for some of these guys,
yeah.
that's quite an accomplishment.
Anything to take money from white supremacists. I'm in.
Indeed.
All right. Beginning in January 2008, Anonymous kicked off Project Chanology, its attack on the Church of Scientology, a cult-like religion which allegedly imprisons its dissident members. They launched denial of service attacks against the organization's websites, gamed the link-sharing site Dig to more prominently display anti-Scientology pages, and even physically protested, showing up in person to many church events. Crazy. That's not anonymous at all. Maybe they were wearing the face, the mask.
That seems to be one of their main focuses. And I'm always down with, well, I don't want to get off on a tangent with this. This could be for another episode. But I'm always down with attacking the business-minded element of religion.
Yeah.
And bringing that down. Because I don't inherently have an issue with religious belief or spirituality. It's these man-created institutions that take money from poor, desperate people. And maybe
Mormons.
they take it from rich, desperate people.
Well, that's
as well,
Scientology.
but-
Scientology is for rich people. Mormonism is for poor people
Well,
and rich people.
Yeah, Mormonism has those two sections. They have the VIP room and they got the poor. General admission.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Anyway, subject for another time. But yes, Anonymous, good job. Number 6, Anonymous released user information from a major hacking forum in February 2011, and security firm Mandiant was able to use this data to link the Chinese military to cyber attacks against the U.S. this year.
Oh, wow.
So, hey. That was
Nice.
2011, so
Looking
not this
out
year,
for
10 years
America.
ago. Or I guess 2013 when this came out.
Yeah. Well, that's
But
a good one.
yeah, and once again, another. I wish it was obvious, but doesn't seem like it is. And our movie's just not going to do well in China after I say this. So I hope you're prepared for that, Kellen.
I didn't know
But
we were making a movie.
I'm not that into the Chinese government right now. I
Well,
love the
damn.
Chinese people. I love Chinese culture. I love Chinese history, the language, the food, all of it. But the current government,
Not great.
Not really into it.
Not great.
Yeah, I wouldn't date it.
Nope.
I'd swipe left on Tinder. Like, ugh.
Yep. Let the
You're taking
peoples-
those little face shots that are like way too close to the screen. I can't even see your body. You're catfishing, Chinese government. You're catfishing.
Governmental catfishing is the worst kind.
And Taiwan's a country. All right, so number 5.
Yeah, this is my favorite one so far. The Westboro Baptist Church is notoriously hateful and intolerant. Anonymous successfully took down the Westboro Baptist Church website in February 2011 in protest. Anything for them. If any, I don't know. If anybody wants to run over some protesters, okay, there's your fucking ones to, man. So
They get the gold medal for run overables.
yeah.
Fuck the Westboro Baptist Church.
Like every single, they just fundamentally do not understand anything they're claiming to understand.
That's something I think the Chinese government, Scientology, Mormons, and what was the first? Okay,
Westboro.
maybe not them.
Ah,
Maybe not Hal Turner, but Scientology, the Chinese government, Mormons. I think we could all fist bump, and we're gonna run over the Westboro Baptist Church folk.
let's get them.
Let's get them together in the same Tesla truck.
Ooh, yeah. Do it clean.
Mm-hmm.
Except the
You
lithium.
won't even
ones.
hear it, but the window will break, even though it's not supposed to.
We could just claim we were watching Netflix on the screen because we hacked it.
Are you done watching this window? It just shatters. All right, number 4. Is that you or me?
Yep.
Okay. Operation Darknet was the group's campaign against child pornography in October 2011. Because pornographers were incredibly effective at using technology to hide themselves, Anonymous used technology to put them out of business.
Hell
Hey.
yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. That anything to stop that shit? That's good.
Hey, do you want to hear my Catholic Church impression on that one?
Aw.
Boo!
Hey, I don't like it at all.
I don't like it one bit. Shout out to Jim Norton.
Nice.
All right, number 3.
On August 13th, 2012, tensions were rising in Uganda as the country's laws were increasingly intolerant on LGBTQ plus issues. It just says LGBT. This is old.
Yeah, you gotta update it.
Anonymous defaced 2 Ugandan government sites in protest. Yeah, bring it on. I like it.
But let's also add that we're in 2021, so it's racist to go against Uganda because of their anti-LGBT issues. Just so you know.
It is? I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway.
Uganda tell me what to do?
Ugh.
All right, I'll leave.
Number 2. The Steubenville rape case, in which images of the high school victim were disseminated in social media, obviously got a lot of attention earlier this year. Anonymous released incriminating video, tweets, and emails belonging to accused players on the school's football team.
Oh,
I
nice.
believe this was the Rolling Stone articles that Shaki sent us. And I will pull that up real quick for any other tidbits while you read the next one.
Ooh, number 1. Just this month. So, in 2013. Anonymous began Operation Free Korea. It's the group's effort to get controversial leader Kim Jong-un to resign. install free democracy, abandon nuclear ambition, and grant uncensored internet access to its citizens. On April 3rd, Anonymous released all 15,000 usernames and passwords for the government's web services and threatened to wipe its data. I didn't hear about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm all for that too.
Yeah, anything. I just imagine Kim Jong-un getting all pissed off and it's like, yeah.
He just swells up like Kirby and Smash.
He doesn't like hit a desk. He just like waves his fists around. Like he won't actually hit anything. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm done. I don't want to go down that road too much. Well, I couldn't find that article quickly enough, so if I find more details than that, we'll bring it up next episode. So before we say goodbye, what would you call this episode? I got one, but how about you?
No, man, I need to start thinking about this earlier. I didn't even like start to contemplate. What do you got?
Well, you are supposed to come up with it during the episode, like if it pops in your brain.
Yeah,
as it naturally flows. But
like cacao nibs, something with cacao nibs, maybe.
Well, while that would be lovely, we didn't spend a lot of time discussing cacao nibs.
True, it should lure more.
We're gonna go with Anonymous Musk.
Ooh, the best kind of musk.
Yeah, this is a great title.
Who did that? What is that?
I want to know. It's like, I have Asperger's and I smoke joints.
I can definitely smell the musk of the ass.
Yes, definitely ass notes in there. Heavy notes of ass.
Not much burger, but all right.
Yeah. Well, all right. So Anonymous Musk, episode number 35.
Woo.
We are right toe and toe, I noticed, with another podcast you should listen to because we're all a large podcast community.
Yeah.
The Josh Potter Show. He's an offshoot of the YMH shows, but he recently moved to his own channel, so I really like the guy. Josh Potter is a good comedian, and he was on episode 34 not too long ago, so he might be one ahead of us, so I'm not sure, but we're right
on him.
We're right in it with him, so we started at the same time.
Yeah, and while we're shouting out other podcasts, just the one I always listen to, this is telling our listeners, but also you, one of the guys from it and another guy in their network started doing a Dune deep dive. So last podcast on the left deep dives Dune edition. So it's supposed to be pretty good. I have not. You're supposed to like actually have no Dune, so I need to like read it and get a little studied up before I listen to it.
I highly recommend getting it on audiobook or audio file or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Because when you read it, it's great, but there's so many like new unfamiliar words and terms that you kind of waste a little brain energy just trying to decide how to pronounce that thing or whatever. When you get the audiobook, they have voice actors and all that stuff, so you just get a sense of, oh, that character's this. And the way they enunciate different terms or items that you're like, oh, the Kuzakarak. Yes, of course.
I see.
The Bene Gesserit witches and all that stuff.
Well, that's good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, so shout out to Audible. Feel free to fund our podcast. Because that one's free, motherfucker.
There you go. You get one shout out, companies, and then it's time to pay up.
Yeah, you hear me, Pabst Blue Ribbon, Copper Kettle Brewing Company in Denver.
Then what about that manscaping thing? That was episodes ago. Come on.
Yeah, you hear me? I already forgot the name of it.
Downstairs
Lobe Daddy,
Lawn
you hear me,
Doctor?
Lobe Daddy?
Yeah, that big rapper needs to pay up. He's got all kinds of money.
Dude, he's so hard to get a hold of because he's just so busy with the bitches.
Yeah, that is time consuming.
And it's once again 2021. Bitches is a universal term.
Gender neutral.
He's talking about his dogs, his ladies, his cousin, his brother-in-law.
I call the blades of grass I mow bitches. So it's just anything.
Man,
Everything.
I was gonna come out, but I had to mow my bitches.
Had to cut them bitches down.
Yeah. Bitches, guys, y'all, folks. It's all universal.
Yeah. Y'all folk bitches have a good week.
Mm-hmm. And you guys, remember your spirit.
Indeed. Hold tightly to the moon.
To the moon.
Doge.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at fakoshka@gmail.com. That is FAKOSHKA@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the